Hi, I'm Michelle Zinn. Today I'm going to be reading you Mrs. McCool and the Giant Cuchulainn, an Irish tale, and it's by Jessica Suhami. So, let me get started. Long ago there lived a giant called Cuchulainn. My, but he was big and fierce and strong. And what made him so strong? He had a magic finger. And believe it or not, all of his strength was in this magic finger. Now, Cuchulainn had fought all the other giants and squashed them flat. Well, all but one. And that was Finn McCool. "Where is that Finn McCool?" he said. "When I find him, pow, wham! Flat as a pancake he'll be. That'll prove I'm the strongest giant in the world." And off he went in search of him. What was he like, this Finn McCool? And where was he all this while? Was he spoiling for a fight? Well, that huge Finn was lying low and sucking his thumb. But then Finn's thumb was magic. When he sucked it, Thumb could see what would happen next, and he could see Cuchulainn coming to get him. "Oh dear," he cried. "Not that I'm scared of that old Cuchulainn, not at all. Well, perhaps just the tiniest, littlest bit scared. What shall I do?" And poor Finn trembled. "I'd best go home to my dear wife, Una. She's got me out of trouble many times before." So Finn set out for his house on the hill where Una was waiting to welcome him. Finn told Una all about Cuchulainn. "Keep calm, Finn," she said. "I'll think of something. Just suck your magic thumb to see when Cuchulainn will arrive." Finn sucked his thumb. "Today, Una," he called out. "Today." Said Una. "And when today?" Finn sucked his thumb again. "This afternoon." Said Una. "And what time this afternoon?" Finn sucked harder. "At 4 o'clock." "4 o'clock," said Una. "That's tea time." She started to laugh. "I've such a plan, Finn," she said, and Una set to work. Una started by making some bread. She made enough dough for 2 big round loaves. She left one plain, but in the other she placed an iron griddle. The iron griddle that she usually heated on the fire to cook her pancakes. And when the 2 loaves came out of the oven, they looked exactly the same. Then Una hid Finn in a giant baby's cradle. Well, all of him that would fit inside. And she put a baby's bonnet on his head. And then they waited for Cuchulainn. They waited and they waited. And just as the clock was striking 4, there was a great banging at the door. "Do come in," said brave Una McCool. And in came the giant Cuchulainn. "Is Finn McCool at home?" he boomed. "No," said Una calmly. "There's just me and the baby. Finn's out looking for some big silly called Cuchulainn who wants to fight him." "Poor Cuchulainn. Finn'll make mincemeat of him." And she smiled up at Cuchulainn. "But I'm Cuchulainn." "Bah!" said Una scornfully, looking him up and down. "You've not met my Finn. You can wait for him if you dare, and I'll brew some tea. But first, will you do a small job for me? Will you lift the house so I can sweep the dust from under it? Finn does it every day." What a storyteller that Una was. Cuchulainn was astonished. "Well, if Finn can do it, so can I," he said, and he went outside. Cuchulainn stretched out his brawny arms, and he gripped the house, and he heaved and shoved and grunted and groaned and grunted and shoved and heaved and groaned. And just as if he felt he must burst, the house began to move. And Una calmly swept the dust from under it as if the house was lifted up every day. "His Finn must be mighty strong," muttered Cuchulainn. Meanwhile, Finn, hiding in the cradle, trembled and shook from head to foot. "Thank you, dear man," said Una. "Now, if you'll just fill the kettle from the spring, I'll make the tea." Cuchulainn looked out. "Where's the spring, Mrs. McCool?" he asked. It's under that pebble, replied Una, pointing to a huge boulder. Finn lifts it every day to get the water. What a storyteller that Una was! Cuchulainn was astonished. That pebble's a mountain, he said. But if Finn can do it, so can I. Well, he went down the hill and put his huge shoulders to the boulder. Cuchulainn heaved and shoved and grunted and groaned and grunted and shoved and heaved and groaned, and just as he felt he must burst, the boulder began to move. Una was as calm as if the boulder was lifted every day, but Cuchulainn, warily filling the kettle, was thinking, could this Finn be stronger than I am? Meanwhile, Finn, hiding in the cradle, trembled and shook from head to foot. At last, Cuchulainn sat down for tea. Do have one of my home-baked loaves, said Una, and she gave Cuchulainn the loaf with the griddle inside, and he took a bite. Ah! He yelled. I can't eat this, Mrs. McCool. It'll break all my teeth. It's as hard as iron. But it's Finn's favorite bread, Mr. Cuchulainn, said Una. Finn and even the baby eat it every day. What a storyteller that Una was. Just then Finn called out as if he really was a baby. Wah! Wah! Mama! Hungry! Mama! Oh, see now, Mr. Cuchulainn, said Una, trying not to laugh. You've woken the baby. Just give him that other loaf, if you please. And Cuchulainn did as she asked, but remember, this was a proper loaf. There was no griddle inside. Finn ate the loaf in 3 bites. Yum, yum, mama, he said, all gone. Cuchulainn was astonished. If the baby could eat this bread, what could Finn do? And should he stay to find out? Just then Finn sat up. Goodness, exclaimed Cuchulainn. Look at the size of him. Look at that mustache. If this is the baby, what must Finn be like? He moved to the door. I really must be going, Mrs. McCool, he mumbled. Oh dear, said Una calmly. Finn will be sorry to have missed you. Before you go, just see what lovely teeth my baby's growing. Feel his little gums. Just to please you, Mrs. McCool, said Cuchulainn, and then I'll be off. Cuchulainn leaned over the cradle, put his little finger, his magic little finger, into Finn's mouth. And guess what? Snap! Finn bit it off. And with a whoosh, Cuchulainn started to shrink. He got tinier and tinier and teenier and teenier, and he ran right out of the house. And he hopped and he jumped and he skipped down the hill and he ran far away, and was never, ever seen again. And as for Finn and Una, they laughed and they laughed. Una, my clever wife, said Finn, you have saved me once again. It was nothing, dear Finn, said Una. Big is big, but brains are better. They danced, and if I'm not wrong, they are laughing and dancing still. The end. I hope you enjoyed Mrs. McCool and the Giant Cuchulainn.